Hi folks, Tim here and welcome back to Elmendorf Acres. Well, today we are going to do a viewer request. Somebody contacted me or left a comment on one of our other review videos and asked me to do a review on our Massey Ferguson 2850E. So we're going to do that today. It's just going to be a short review, but I'll go over some of the things I do like about it and a few of the weaknesses that it had. Try to do an honest review here. I do really like this tractor. So first things first, this is a Massey Ferguson 2850E, and I bought this from Eklund Farm Machinery up in Stamford, New York. You've heard me talk about them before. We do really like doing business with them, but that's where this particular machine came from. And we had looked at a couple different options when we started looking for a new tractor. Now, before this, I had an old Kubota from the 80s, a little 25 horse, and it was tired. And when I say tired, it was really tired. So we had put some money into it. I did new wheels, I did new tires. We actually had to split the tractor, rebuild a bunch of stuff inside. And it just got to the point where I said, if we're going to be using this to actually make money with and to put on jobs, I need a machine that's really reliable, but I also need a little more horsepower. So we were looking at a couple options with Massey Ferguson. Now, we had done a lot of research between Kubota and Coyote. We checked on New Holland. We checked, who else did we check? Kubota, Coyote, New Holland, and one or two others, I guess. But anyway, we checked a few others out, and I really decided on the Massey, not necessarily because I thought it was by far the most superior product. It was because I really liked the way I was treated when I walked into this particular dealership. And a friend of mine had purchased a few things here, and he said, hey, you got to check them out. They're great. They'll work with you. So that's what we did. We went up and we saw Billy at Eklund Farm Machinery, and I had my old Kubota, the old 25 horse. I think it was a Kubota 2050 maybe, with a loader, no backhoe. And I said, hey, you know, I've got this old tractor. I'd like to trade it in. And what will you give me for that? And then what are my options going forward for a new tractor? So Massey had a few different options that would work for us. And the first one I looked at was an 1840. Now, the 1840 was something that was in my price range very comfortably. And we almost decided to go with an 1840 and put a cab on it. As we did a lot of different research, not necessarily anything bad about the 1840, but I started looking at lift capacity between the 1840 and this particular model, which is the 2850. So this particular model was capable of lifting 850 pounds more than the 1840. So that was really what sold us on this particular tractor. Now, it was at the time, I think 4,500 or 5,000 more to jump to this bigger tractor from the 1840. So from the 1840 to the 2850, the entire tractor itself is bigger. The 1840, the numbers kind of make sense, right? So that's a 40 horse, this is a 50 horse. Another thing we did was we researched what drive system would work best for us. Whether we would go with the old stick shift style, or what they call their shuttle shift, or if we were going to go with this hydrostatic. And we decided for the work that we were doing, with all the shuttling work we do in the back and forth, you know, we do a lot of mulch, dirt, stone, redoing driveways. We spend a lot of time in the wood yard with the Grapple and things like that. So we figured if we went with a hydro, anybody who works for us can drive it. And it's just ease of operation, really. So we decided on the hydrostatic as the option for us on this 2850. Now, as we come around here to the back of the tractor, you might see that I have a trailer mover hooked to the back of the tractor here. This has been very handy for us around the property, around the yard. I can hook to a trailer and move it. But one of the big things for me with this tractor was that it had that 50 horsepower, because we have the WoodMaxx 8-inch chipper. And that 8-inch chipper, you'll see a review. We did a review on that a few months ago, maybe even 6 or 7 months ago now. But you'll see how well that chipper works when it's hooked up to this tractor. And on the old tractor, the old 25 horse, we could chip, you know, maybe 4 or 5-inch stuff, but it was really hard on it. This one will chip that 5 and 6-inch stuff really well. And I mean, it will actually eat 8-inch hemlock, which is, it's pretty tough. Hemlock's not the easiest thing to put through a chipper. The tractor bears down a little bit and we kind of cycle the chipper through, but it does a lot better. So coming around to this side of the tractor here, we've got our basic controls for the loader right here. Nice and easy to operate. And you'll actually see that I have a tarp rolled over the back here. This tractor unfortunately does sit outside, but what we do is we have a tarp that rolls over, and it rolls over all this stuff, and it goes to right about here. So it covers everything that's important, and from here down, it doesn't really hurt it to be in the rain. So that's what we do with that. Basic hydro drive here down on the floor, forward, and it's got just a simple screw as a limiter. And there's some really simple stuff on this tractor. That's one of the things that I like. Back here, you've got your differential lock, so you can lock your rear up. It does, believe it or not, have cruise control. So I can rock this lever forward and lock cruise control in. So if you're going down the road, or maybe you're brush hogging and you need to readjust things a little bit because you're tired of sitting, you can do that cruise control. I think I've used it probably twice in almost 3 years of owning this tractor. So this one has 1/3 function. It's plumbed into the rear. So right here, you cannot run this just with the tractor running. So for instance, we've got a hydraulic sweep on our stump grinder. So I have to actually hold this open this way or this way to run the hydraulics through. That was one thing I wish was a little bit different. I'm not sure if they've changed that at all since then, but this works very well for our Grapple. And through the dealer, they actually plumbed the hydraulics through from the rear of the tractor to the front of the tractor, just with simple hydraulic hose. They didn't do anything fancy. There's nothing hard plumbed, but it does work, and I'll show you the front of that here. I've got it looped right now, but you can see I've got it just looped together to keep the dirt out of it. But that comes through right here. It goes through the hollow arms of the loader, and it swoops down underneath. Now, as far as fuel economy, I can't speak great to that because we operate a lot of machinery. So I go through a lot of fuel. Personally, I think it does really, really well with fuel economy when you're just shuttling things. When you're using the loader, or you can see we've got forks on it right now, or the Grapple around the yard, stuff like that, it does really well. So as soon as you kick that PTO in, you're gonna idle things up to a high idle. And you can see here on the dashboard where your high idle for the PTO is right around 2450. So that really drinks a lot of fuel. Now I think if I've got a full tank and let's say the Brush Hog on, and we're brush hogging some pretty heavy stuff, it'll go for 5 or 6 hours on a tank of fuel, and then you got to throw a little more in to make it through the rest of the day. I've never actually started super full and ran it all the way down to see how far it lasts doing different things. But overall, I've been pretty happy with the fuel economy on this tractor. I was brush hogging a field one time and the low fuel light came on, and I said, well, you know what? I've only got a little bit more to do. Well, the little more turned into 30, 40, 50 minutes, and I ran out of fuel with 2 passes left in the field. So I did kind of have fun with that, as far as, and a very sarcastic fun, as far as putting fuel back in it, repriming everything. It was not hard to do. There are some YouTube videos out there on how to do it. I didn't make a video on it at the time. I was pretty frustrated, actually, yelling at myself, calling myself all kinds of different names for, not just going to the truck and getting fuel. But anyway, overall, I am very, very happy with this tractor. So we've got 3 different ranges here. We've got our snail here, our turtle here, and our rabbit down here. Now, most of the time around the yard, I keep it in the turtle. But for road transport, we'll bump it up. And then sometimes if I'm doing real heavy stuff or really getting into the heavy piles of dirt and gravel, then I'll drop it back to the snail. But overall, it has lots of power. I haven't really run out of power. This tractor will lift a full IBC tote of fluid. So we've used this tractor to collect sap, and I've moved those full IBC totes around. Won't lift it super high, and you got to make sure that you have a weight box of some sort on the back. So these tires are loaded, which gives me a lot better balance as far as that goes. We're not too tippy in the front, if I can put it that way. But if you're going to be moving something really heavy or doing real heavy logs, make sure you've got a weight box on the back. Again, it will lift that 275 full and place it in the back of my truck. It's a little tricky. You want to make sure you're doing it on a flat ground, but it will do it. So I was really impressed with that. That was one of the things that we wanted, was to be able to really lift and give me that lift capacity that I needed. So that's why we went with that 2850 over the 1840. We've got a lot of different attachments for this. It has a regular quick attach. So anything that you have that's quick attach already, this will hook straight up to. So I've got a bucket for this, regular bucket. We've got the forks. We've got a grapple for our front end attachments. On the back, I've got a 6-foot Brush Hog, the WoodMaxx 8H chipper, which it runs well. I've got a Woods stump grinder, which we also did a review on. We've got a 7-foot York rake, a back blade, and ballast box, a couple other things. But so far, there's really been nothing on this tractor that I have put on it that it hasn't been able to run. Now, for a couple of the bad things. You might notice that one of the first videos we did was smashing the hood on the tractor. Not a good day for me, and I did get rather annoyed with that. But you can see here we've got some damage on the poor tractor. So the dent in the hood itself is not terrible. It's just a little dent here. The problem is when it came down and smashed this, it did break the plastic on the side of the light here. So we've got some broken plastics. One of the issues I have is to replace this hood is right around $2,500. And I mean, almost every tractor you look at, if we're at the auction, we joke around about it. Almost every tractor has a bunkled in hood. So that I don't like. We load trailers a lot, and this grill guard basically rubs up against the trailer sometimes, right down here. Right down on the very bottom, it'll rub up against the trailer a little bit. Or if you're stacking logs in a log pile. I think their design on this was a little bit weak. And you can actually see, as you look here, excuse me, that this is tweaked just a little bit, and it takes the whole grill. So it takes the whole grill and it has bent it back a little bit. So we did have to straighten that one time, but I think that design right there is a little bit weak. They could have done something with some angle iron to give it a little bit more structure. The other design flaw that they have is on this particular loader. This is the FLX 2815, as you can see. These cylinders have been upgraded since I purchased the tractor. And the reason behind that is we actually bent both cylinders. No idea how that happened, but we did manage to bend both cylinders. Massey Ferguson, through the dealer, warrantied it, no problem whatsoever. So I had no problem. I called the dealer and I said, hey, I don't know what happened here, but the hydraulic arm's bent. And he said, well, they did have a slight problem with a couple of them. Yours might have been one of them, so we'll warranty it, no problem. So these hydraulic cylinders, very, very expensive to replace. I think he said somewhere in the $2,300 range or $1,800 range for both of them. So the only thing I had to do was top it off with some hydraulic fluid. But I felt that that was a little bit of a weak design. So we do the best we can to be nice to the machinery. And I know you've heard me say that a few times. This is our living. These are the machines that pay my bills. These are the machines that keep a roof over my family's head. These are the machines that feed my family. So we do the best we can to really maintain this stuff. So when those arms bent, I was a little bit surprised because we haven't really done anything too crazy with this tractor. We haven't pushed it, haven't really tested it as far as, oh man, I wonder if it'll do this or that. We've definitely worked it. We've done everything it's supposed to do. We've lifted massive logs with it, things like that. Really, truly have no idea how those bent. So overall, again, really, really happy with this tractor. If you order it straight from the factory, they do offer options that we didn't have. Like I said, we've got that rear remote, that rear hydraulic remote that we plumbed to the front. I believe if you order it from the factory, you can actually get that on your loader control right here. So I believe if my memory serves me correct, because at the time we had looked at ordering from the factory to get that, and they were backed up because it was a few years ago when supply chain was really messed up. And that was another one of the reasons we went with this particular loader, was they actually had it in stock. So again, happy with it. One other issue that we had was right here at the bottom of your loader control lever, and I'm going to pull this boot off. This little, if it stays up, that would be nice. So anyway, right here at the very bottom of your loader remote, you see this little, and it's just a little aluminum piece right here, and you've got a little pivot point right here. We did snap that off, and I'm pretty sure that was fault of ours, just hitting it hard, getting off one time and catching maybe a belt loop or something on it and pulling it off. That is a replacement part that they have in stock at the dealer. It was really simple to replace. We just unbolted, I think, 2 or 3 spots, stuck the lever back on. But that is a weak point right there, or at least an item that you should be aware of. Try to be a little gentle with that. Okay, so overall, pretty happy with this tractor. You got your simple controls over here. These are your blinkers for right, left, your 4-ways. Low beams and high beams, both are on. And it actually has your high beam indicator here too, which is pretty neat. This one does have regen, so this one does have emissions, unfortunately. I don't like most of the emission stuff. You've got your very simple control here for your PTO. Push it in, turn it, and it locks in. To turn it back off, push it down. Click, just clicks right back. But I've had no problems whatsoever with this. All this stuff has worked well. You can actually see down here, here's your cruise control right here. So you can depress your lever, pull that right there, and you can see it keeps your foot pedal depressed. And to take it off, just tap it. But it's a very simple, you can actually hear it. If I hold it up, you'll hear it click. Basically a ratchet system. So that's nice and easy. You can lock it in reverse as well. I would not recommend that. But as far as forward goes, nice and easy. Put it in cruise control. You do have your split brake system. A simple flip right there, so you can operate either one separately if you want. We operate them together most times. And what you do, you depress that, and then right over here, push that down, and that locks your emergency brake in. So again, overall, I've been really happy with this tractor. I'm happy with the design, and I'm especially happy with the support we've gotten through the dealer. So whether it be a question, whether it be parts, whether it be a warranty claim, which we had with those loader arm cylinders. Sorry, I keep tripping over that. But whether it be with parts, whether it be with stupid questions that I always have, or whether it be with something like a warranty claim, been really happy with the dealer. And I know that has a lot to do with what they will basically cover as far as the manufacturer goes. When you're working with a great dealer, they understand how this stuff works. And I remember he even told me, I sent him pictures. He said, oh yeah, we'll get them ordered up right away. We will order them, call you, bring the old cylinders up when they come in, and take these new ones in replacement. So that's what we did. And we also talked with him, and we bumped to the next level up of heavier cylinder, which was great as well, because in my mind, the cylinders on that particular year, this is, I believe it's a 20, but on that particular year seemed to be a little bit too small as far as what the tractor could actually lift. But that's our best as far as an honest review of the Massey Ferguson 2850E. Again, we try to do honest reviews with this stuff. I do have some preferences as far as my trucks and machinery and things like that go. But that's the good and the bad and the ugly with this Massey Ferguson 2850E. So thank you as always for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't. We are working our way towards 1,000, and we're over 2/3 of the way there. And that's only possible when folks like you hit that subscribe button. So thank you so much. Have a great day.